All right, good evening and welcome to another edition of Drinking with Jake. I am your friendly host, Jake. With me, as always, is my best friend, Mike.
Heyo,
Mike, hello. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Doing well. Just wanted to give a big shout out to all of our fans and friends and family out there in Drinking with Jake land. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. This one's for you.
I'll
Cheers.
drink to that.
I'll drink to that. So welcome to another edition of Drinking with Jake. So, Michael, let me ask you, what have you been up to, man?
Just a lot of work. Working at my job, and because I'm an essential employee.
Thank God you're essential.
Thank God I'm essential. Finally, I'm essential. And
Essential at something. Essential in
right.
something.
And been working on some house projects, including my camper.
Oh man, I love your camper. Love your
I
camper.
love my camper. It's a great camper, isn't it?
Okay,
Uh,
tell the viewing audience when you have. I don't mean to interrupt you.
oh,
Tell us about your camper.
it is a 28-foot living space camper. It's our first camper, and it's a 28-foot camper bunkhouse style. You can sleep 7 comfortably, but I think we can actually fit 9 in there if we really wanted to.
Amazing.
It's an ultralight camper, which means they used sawdust and glue for all the wood components, which is fantastic. When you put paper over it, it looks really nice and pretty. But when you get it wet, it crumbles. It looks like mice got in there and started eating it.
Okay.
So I've been redoing some of the framework to remove, because we got wet moisture from the refrigerator and from our dog. That when we took her camping, she would drink from her water bowl or bring in water or dirt, whatever, and it got into that fiberboard and it just wrecked it. So it looked like crap. So ripped it all out, and we're putting in new framework into it, into all the cupboards and around the refrigerator, and we've got one more drawer to cover up, and then we'll be pretty close to being done for this time.
So did you have to rip out your cabinets and rip out all that stuff?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
put in like the new framework of the cabinets and where your refrigerator was and all that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's what we're doing.
Man.
My oldest and I, we did all the measurements and everything for underneath the sink, and we put that in a couple of weeks ago, got it all stained up and looking nice, and we put that in a couple of weeks ago, and it only took, the putting in part only took, I don't know, an hour, maybe 45 minutes to actually put it in and make it line everything up, make everything level, and and off the floor just enough so the bump out would come in and all that. But we were out there for about 6 or 8 hours.
Jeez.
The refrigerator would not come out, and it had to. There was no getting around it. We were going to try and do it the cheap way and just cut off the bad parts, but wasn't ever going to look right. It wasn't ever going to look good. So we end up taking out the refrigerator. Shouldn't have been a hard thing. The top of it came out great. You could tip it. I mean, it was, if this is level, we were tipping it towards us, and the top came out just fine. The bottom would not come out because they had put epoxy on the very bottom, and it was sitting on plywood. So it was plywood epoxy refrigerator.
Oh man.
So we were just reefing on it as hard as we can. It just wouldn't budge. So finally I said, you know what, this thing's coming out anyway. I'm gonna break the framing.
Yeah.
So I broke the framing off, and I saw the bottom bead of epoxy. Well, once I cut that away a little bit, that refrigerator slid right out. Just boop. And it was just 2 wires, a regular 3-pronged plug, and the propane connection. And it was, I mean, that's as easy as it was. And slid it right out. And my son and I, we took all the measurements, took out the framework, and last week I had to work, and this weekend I put it all together, sanded it. He just finished staining it about half hour ago, and so we'll put that in maybe tomorrow or sometime this week or next weekend.
Awesome.
Then I got one more little part to do, and then that part's done. My wife just said something about wanting me to she wants me to build a shelf for in the bathroom. Excuse me. Shelf for in the bathroom, so we can put stuff on top of that since we don't use the shower at all.
Well, that was my next question. We don't have a camper.
Right.
Would love to get one, but like we said in an earlier episode, my wife's version of camping is roughing it at the Holiday Inn without room service.
Sure.
So, or the turn down service, or the hot towels at night and whatever.
Mints on the towels.
Mints on the towels,
Right.
mints on the pillows.
Yep.
You know, no room service. You know, it's just yeah. So love to get one, but roughing it is a 2-star hotel instead of a 4 or 5-star hotel.
Right. 2-star.
2-star instead of a 3 or 4 or 5-star. With your camper, do you use the restroom, or do you usually go camping in an area where they already have like a bathhouse or something, or you go full, Rambo
No, I
and
don't
go in the jungle?
No, using the term bathhouse, that's not really what I envision when you say bathhouse.
You know what I mean.
Right. No,
this guy.
hello. I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that.
Speaking of which, real quick sidebar. What are you drinking tonight, Jake?
I should have gotten to sorry about that. I should have gotten into that first. I am drinking Clyde Mays Alabama style whiskey, which we will be getting more into later on in the episode, or another episode. But it's good. It's a good start. How about yourself?
I am intrigued. I am drinking a very tall glass of whiskey, Jameson whiskey, and Diet Dr. Pepper, because I'm trying to watch my weight. No, because I like the taste. And then, of course, those famous Luxardo cherries that come from the virgin trees.
The virgin trees, yeah. I couldn't believe how much shit we got from about the virgin trees.
It was great.
But I'm so glad people are listening and providing us valuable feedback too.
Call back. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking tonight. Just good old Jamie and some Dr. Pepper. Mixed her up, and yeah. So
awesome.
But getting back to the camping, no, we go to a campground or campgrounds. We've been trying a few, and they usually have. We like running water. Regular bathrooms or restrooms, and they usually have showers in them. They do have the pit toilets that nobody likes to use, and I'll just use a tree if I have to. But taking a shower, it's hard to shower on a tree. But
right.
Yeah, we go camping, try and go camping regularly, but we bought the camper because going tent camping was hurting my back too much.
Yeah.
It's hard to sleep on the floor, on the ground, or an air mattress. And you know what? It was time for a good one. So we went out and we got this camper.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that. So,
but that leads me into a story I wanted to tell you.
One more quick question. I'm sorry. One more quick question about your camper.
Yes.
Because the audience wants to know. It's 28 feet long, right?
Yes.
And then it's like so wide, and then it has like a pop out. How many square feet is it?
Oh, you know what? I can't tell you.
Roughly.
It's, boy. You know what? I don't even want to take a guess. It's probably a couple hundred square feet.
Couple hundred square feet. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a comfortable living space for an extended period of time, but we can probably go camping for a week and be just fine.
Sure.
I mean, it's got a microwave and a stove and a sink, refrigerator.
TV.
It does have a shower and a toilet that we've never used. We could go camping as long as the tanks, all the the water tanks held up, Mm-hmm. Or if we went to a site that had water, we we could camp indefinitely. Got a heater and an air conditioner, and it's a pretty fancy thing. I like it.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome. So
uh,
anyway, sorry, I was just curious because it sounds. I mean, I've seen your camper before, and I've been in
mhm.
your camper, and it just seems like it was bigger than my wife's in my first apartment when we were first married,
Right?
and probably better built,
Yeah.
and
I don't know about that.
well, I mean,
Um,
our first apartment was pretty interesting. So anyway, I mean, you have a TV in your and yeah, and anyway,
yes, we
so
do.
yeah,
We do have
so
a TV. Kathy, I'm sorry, my wife calls it glamping, and I hate that term, but she calls it glamping uh, because we have a TV and a stereo in it, and that stuff doesn't get used. The only time I've used the stereo in it is when I've been working or repairing something,
hmm
and we only used the TV I think twice when it was raining. We went camping; it was just raining cats and dogs, and we watched air TV or whatever, whatever the antenna could pick up.
yeah,
So we don't use that stuff when we go camping. We're only in there for storage and sleeping.
yeah, yeah.
um but yeah, I do like having it.
I can't say I blame you, man. I really can't. So anyway, you're gonna tell a story
Hmm.
about camping with you and your dad?
Yeah, my dad and I used to go camping quite a bit, just about every summer or twice a summer or something. um and we would go up to this place up in Northern California, Central California, something like that, called Twin Lakes, Mammoth Twin Lakes. And we had a dog, and Jessie was the dog's name. She was one of the best dogs I've ever had. I say one of because I think my last dog was better, but we'll see. Uh, but Dad and I would go, and I must have been 15, 16, something like that. And Dad and I decided we were going to go camping with our dog and our mountain bikes. And we were going to bike all day long, come home, eat, sleep, and repeat. You know, and we were going to ride all up and down the trails, and we were going to go to the lake and ride around the lake and all this stuff. It was great. So that's what we did. We went up there, went camping. Dad had this nice sized tent for the three of us, myself, my dad, and my dog, to sleep in. And it was, if I remember correctly, at this time we were damn near on the lake. I mean, it was like you woke up 6 feet away, there's the lake. We went out
Awesome.
fishing every day. I mean, it was great. And up there wasn't very many mosquitoes. I mean, there was a few, but not that many. So that wasn't a concern like it is here. Um, so that's what we did. We went up there. Went camping, and we went bike riding, and I must have had, if I had 10 flats, I had a dozen. I mean, it was that's all I was doing. We'd ride our bikes, and I'd get a flat tire. I got so fast at changing a flat tire that I could change one in my sleep. You know, NASCAR would have been calling me up saying, "Hey, let's change my tire." So, I mean, we'd get a flat tire, and I say, "Dad, I got to stop." He goes, "Another one?" I said, "I can't help it." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm riding right where you are. I don't know, what else." So anyway, so Dad and I went for this long, long bike ride, and we put our dog Jessie in the tent and left her in there. Plenty of food, plenty of water, so she wasn't overheating or anything. And we went for a ride. And there was this road down there called St. Mary's Drive. And on the one side of the road was traffic, right? And on the end of the road was a cliff. And we were riding in between the traffic and the cliff. And this was 25, 28 years ago. There were no helmet laws then. So Dad and I had what we called poor man's helmets, which was just our hats turned backwards like this.
Awesome.
And we were riding down on 15, 18 speed bikes next to cars doing 35, 40 miles an hour, and we were pacing them with nothing on but a backwards helmet or backwards hat. And so we're driving along, and we're just having a blast. And we're going up hills and down hills. Well, we get to this one hill, and it was so steep. There was no way either one of us. I mean, we'd been biking for about an hour or so. There was no way either one of us were making it up that hill. So we're just walking and talking, walking our bikes up the hill. And we see this animal coming towards us. And we're like, that's weird. What kind of animal is running in the middle of the trail? And I'm kind of a little leery, kind of worried about it, but not overly concerned. Dad's not concerned. I'm not concerned. Well, I start thinking, well, it looks kind of like a fox. No, it looks kind of like a wolf, you know. So I start getting a little concerned, and my dad looks at me and he goes, that looks like Jessie. And I said, no way. That can't be Jessie. She's in our tent. We get closer and closer, and sure enough, that was our dog. She had ripped through the tent and chased our scent and smelled us and followed our scent to find us because she didn't like being home or being back in the tent by herself. She had ripped her pads completely off her paw.
Oh my God.
They were just worn down to nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So Dad's carrying her back because she's bleeding all over the place. I'm walking both bikes back. Okay. So now we're back we're like, how did she get out of the tent? We get back and she had jumped through the side of the tent and ripped a hole in the side of the tent. Now it's just a nylon tent. It's not like it was great, this like canvas stuff like when our grandparents went camping. This is just a nylon tent. It's a nice tent. Don't get me wrong, Dad. I wasn't complaining about the tent. But it's got this big hole in it, So we went about our day, and sidebar. Let me backtrack a bit before this happened, because you'll be mad if I don't tell this part of the story. We went up to these lakes, and we had been riding our bikes for quite a few days, and we were smelly, really, really smelly. And me being a 15, 16-year-old boy, I was especially smelly.
Yeah.
So Dad says we need to bathe. I said, okay, let's go bathe. So we get to the showers, and I think the showers were either they cost money, which I think they cost money, but either we didn't have any money, any change, or they were out of order or something. I don't remember exactly why we didn't want to use them, but we didn't. Give me a second here. Okay. We didn't use them at all. So he says, let's go take a bath in the lake. Fine. So we grabbed soap and shampoo and towels and whatnot, and we go to the lake. And we get to the spot, and there's nobody out on this lake. Nobody. Which should have been my first clue. But we get out there, and we get to this cliff, and Dad says, let's go. Strip down, and let's jump in the water. I said, I don't know, Dad. That water looks awful cold. These are glacier-fed lakes.
Sorry.
Okay? These are glacier-fed lakes. I didn't know that before. So Dad goes, no, it's not cold. Come on, I'll show you. So we strip down to our birthday suits. Dad jumps in. He pops up and turns around and says, yeah, this is great. Come on in. I jump in, Jake, as soon as my body hit that water, as soon as my toe hit that water, I jumped back out of the water. It was so cold. Like I said, it was glacier-fed lake. It was so cold. I'm screaming. Dad's laughing. Apparently, when he jumped in, underneath the water, he screamed because it was so cold. Then he popped up and turned around and said, oh, no, come on in. The water's fine. Come on in, Michael. It's fine. So, yeah, that was one of the fastest baths I've ever taken. 'Cause, I mean, you're in there. What are you going to do,
Right.
And it's not like in a pool when the pool is a little cold, or in a lake around here when the water's a little cold, and you warm up or you find that warm spot. There was no warm spot. The only warm spot was the one that you made, if you know what I mean. Oh, so cold. I still have trust issues. I mean, it still won't go to lakes now. Anyway, so cut back to my dog jumping out. So we end up going to bed that night, and we end up going to bed that night, and Dad's like, I can't believe this dog jumped through the tent. I'm like, well, are we gonna be okay? He says, yeah, we'll be fine. All right. So I go to bed, and I'm sleeping. We had cots that we would sleep on, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I hear my dad, go away, go away. Oh, what's going on? I look over, and my dad was a police officer, and he had a little holdout 22 pistol. Okay. And I see him kneeling on his cot, looking out of this big gaping hole we had in the tent.
Sure.
Holding his 22 pistol by his hip, and he's throwing stuff out the window, or out this, not the window, but what ended up being a window.
Sure.
He was throwing this stuff out, and he goes, go away. Go away. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, nothing. Hold Jessie, Michael. So I got the dog around her collar, because she's growling, just, and all her hackles are up, and she was part pit bull, so all of that's sticking up. Hi, Daisy.
This is my dog. Sorry. She's needy. Keep going.
So I'm holding this dog, and the dog's just ready to protect and serve, and Dad's throwing out all this change. I'm like, what are you doing? Go away, stupid bear, go away. A grizzly had come into our camp.
No shit.
And somehow, and we were always very conscious about our garbage and about our food and whatnot, and somehow this bear had grabbed our cooler. I don't remember where it was, but it got our cooler and had knocked it over and was eating all of our food.
No.
Yep. And so Dad was worried that the dog was going to go out and try and attack this bear, and that the bear was going to come find us, right? So he's throwing change at this bear, trying to get it to go away, stupid bear, go away. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, nothing, go back to sleep. Well, hold Jess. Well, which one do you want me to do? Go away, stupid bear. Dad, is there a bear out there? No, don't worry about it. What? What's going on? Hold Jess. Okay. And he starts throwing. I'm thinking, not the quarters, Dad. We need those to take a shower, not the quarters. So, and then I'm thinking, what are you going to do with that 22? The bear's not even going to feel it.
No.
So, my dad's a good shot, but I don't know about that good with the 22. So anyway, we wake up the next day, right? Nothing bad happens to us, obviously. We wake up the next day, and the bear had eaten every single piece of food that we had, every bit. But this bear was exceptionally smart, because it sat down, and we had Kraft Singles to make grilled cheese. It had unwrapped all the plastic from the Kraft Singles and left all the plastic in one pile. It didn't rip the plastic off. I mean, you know how they're like got the little,
the little flipper.
They're packaged a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It had ripped all of the Kraft Singles out and put the plastic down, and that was it. So we had to go home like 3 days early, because we had no money for food. We'd spent all the money that we had allocated for food on that trip already. And Dad's like, well, I guess we got to go home.
Yeah.
So while he's cleaning up the mess, I'm looking around for the change and trying to find all this stuff so we could at least shower. And that was one of the last times we went up there together.
Oh man, what a great memory.
Oh, it was fantastic.
At the time, I'm sure everyone was just scared shitless, but a great memory.
I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that memory.
So, but yeah, that was that story.
Awesome. I mean, you can't make that up, man.
No,
you can't make that up.
I'm not clever enough.
No. You can't make that up. So, well, should we take a break after that story?
Let's take a break.
We'll refill our libations, and we will come back with another segment of Drinking with Jake. So, everybody, thanks for staying with us, and we will talk to you soon. We'll be right
See you
back.
soon.
See you soon.